Hey, what is up guys, and today we have a new FPV wing, and this is from KingKong or LDARC. I guess it's a rebranding between both companies. It's called the FPV Wing 800X. However, don't let the name fool you, it is a 768mm wingspan here. Now, what's so cool about this kit is it actually comes with quite a lot of things, and it took around 30 minutes to assemble. So let's take a look at some of the components here. Now, the wings are not detachable. You will have to glue these on, and they have a metal bar that goes between right here to kind of keep the overall structural integrity, and they also give you these little tiny metal bars as well. Now, what I had to do to stick them into place here was use super glue. I just dropped the super glue into place and then just dropped them in, and they're holding very well here. This will improve the overall structural integrity here, and the amount, it's basically a hybrid between plastic and foam, and the amount of plastic parts they give you with this is pretty crazy actually, because as you can tell here, I've went ahead with the black one. Now they provide you with the orange also, so you do have a lot of spare plastic parts, and let me just show you that real quick. As you can tell here, every single black plastic piece that you see, I also have the same exact one in orange as well, which is really nice to see here. Now I got this as the kit that doesn't come with any electronics here, and I had to bring in my own servos. Now I really like the way that the ailerons are connected through this plastic piece, which is super glued into place here, or you don't have to super glue it. It does have a very good fit, and this is what will connect the servo to this. Now in the second part of the video, we will be connecting the servos and taking it out for a flight. And like I mentioned, it doesn't come with any of the electronics. So what I instead put for motor and ESC is I put the Emax 2207 1900 kV, because I'm looking for very efficient motors, so that's why I'm testing out low kV. And for ESC, I put a very massive R45 Sunny Sky 6S D-Shot 600 ESC in here. I'm tending to reach out for these for my wings because I have a lot of trust in them, because they can handle so much amperage, and in case of a crash or anything, I know these are not going to fail on me, and I have them on 3 of my other wings, such as the Zod Nano Talon. I've replaced its default one, and I've also set up my S800 with a Sunny Sky R45, and they're handling really great. And this is something that I highly recommend you get a little ESC that's a bit more powerful than your motor, so you don't have to worry about it burning out anytime soon or overheating in flight, because that could be an absolute nightmare. For the amount of space inside, it's pretty remarkable actually. I didn't expect this. You can fit a 4000 milliamp 3S LiPo in here, which is insane here. Now, a couple things also to take note of inside is it doesn't come with a flight controller, nor inbuilt gyro stabilization system, nor it will fit 30x30 flight controller. So you'll have to do some modifications in order to fit a flight controller in here, which is why I haven't fully built it just yet, because I am planning on doing that. Now, for example here, if you wanted to see how much space this thing has, this is a 4000 milliamp Zop Power 3S LiPo, and it'll fit just fine. You might have to do little modifications if you're going to add a flight controller, or just the small modifications in order to not have the battery be loose all over the place. But if you go ahead and grab the top plate, it will close 100%, which is just crazy. So the amount of LiPos you can put in here, or the size of the LiPo battery that can be placed in here, is pretty remarkable, and I really want to see how much range I can get on this with such a setup. Now, and again, assembly time was absolutely simple. It was very easy to assemble, and as you can tell here, it also has a plastic piece, and again, you have 2 of these, orange and a black one. This is where your camera would go, and it does have the correct mounting holes, and this is supposed to be for your VTX if you wanted to place your VTX right there, which is really good to see here. And the motor mount here with the ESC is actually completely removable and very easy to access, unlike some other ones where you have to just, that's it, super glued into place or hot glued into place, and you have to, you know, if something ever happens to it, you really have to dig through to get it out. Here it's just held with 2 screws actually. So these 2 screws here pipe into 2 plastic pieces on the bottom, which you would first put these in. I put a little bit of glue to hold them into place. Once they held into place, and then I just slide in my motor attachment, and it does have foam in here, which is a really nice tight fit. It just slides right on, and you put your 2 screws, which is really good. However, this ESC is slightly bigger than the ones that they were providing with the kit, so there's a little attachment on the bottom that holds it into place. I just had to cut some of it off just so I could get it to fit right, because it is such a massive ESC that I'm using here. And about the winglets here, these were actually just they came in pre-installed, perfectly pre-installed, well aligned, which was really nice. I didn't have to deal with the wingtips here or the winglets here, which was something really cool. And now they're stating don't allow this to go more than 30 degrees. They have that in the manual. The manual is pretty detailed, so you can get an idea of what's really going on. Not only that, they also provide you with LEDs. As you can tell, there's these plastic pieces here which you would set up LEDs, which they do provide in the kit as well as in the back. However, I chose not to install them because I just don't like installing LEDs. It's just one more extra component which can go wrong, and you just have a nightmare to deal with, and this is something I really didn't want to do. And I don't really care much for LEDs, but also it's a nice addition. Now, this will fit your normal type HS1177 type cameras here, and you can possibly get adapters if you wanted to. And the foam is really flexible, so you can do whatever the heck you want. You cut it out, just shape it up, put something, 3D print something for this, and it'll do just fine. Now, the upper plate or the top cover actually holds into place very well, but before you actually do that, you have to glue these into place. And I recommend you add a small dab of glue before doing that, because and make sure I actually had to stick the plastic pieces on this before putting it in so I get the right fit, because the holes can go pretty deep, and then if they go too deep, then they won't lock the top hatch here. So take that into consideration also. Now, as far as design and build quality, it seems to be good, but this is still too early to say anything much until I take it out flying. But I really like the assembly time. It was very simple, especially for someone who's new to this FPV wing stuff. It was a lot easier than my S800, that's for sure. And it's really quick to actually build. Now, all you have to do is, I think the hardest part of a wing, especially when you're getting started, is figuring out how to align the servos with the elevons here, or ailerons, or whatever you have set up here. But once you get that down, it's actually smooth sailing from there, and just a bit of trims and you're good to go, which is something I really like. They're so forgiving. Wings are really forgiving, and I really do like that. Overall, this thing can fit quite a lot of things, so I can stick a stubby 1500 4S in here just fine, which is really nice, and that'll cover absolutely perfect, because the top hatch gives you a lot of extra space, which is really good. So this is a stubby 4S 1500. This is the little flat one, sort of 1500, so they can fit pretty good. You could actually go a little bit larger. Maybe you can go 2200 4S on this guy, but we're gonna have to see its flight characteristics here. And like I showed you earlier, it does fit a 4000 milliamp 3S LiPo, which is pretty crazy. I really want to see how stable this is in the air, and this could be also another one of our mid-range testing setups where I could test receivers on. So I'm very curious to see how well this is going to fly. All I have to do is just set up the servos, and I'm planning on putting some sort of flight controller, maybe a 20x20 flight controller, or probably purchase another 411 microcontroller unit, the Maytech 411 Wing. I think it would fit here. I do have another one here to take its measurements, see if it'll fit actually into place here. But you'll have to do some modifications in order to keep the battery into place, because you can tell this is somewhat for a battery here, but I don't know what the hell would fit in there. So take that into consideration. So you're gonna have to figure something out to mount these in. Maybe cut some of this off, and then use some kind of Velcro system to hold it into place. I don't know yet. I'll figure it out as time goes on. But overall, it's a really nice kit. It's really well priced, and it was very easy to set up as well, and not time consuming at all. Now just the electronic parts, which I'll do in the second part of the video, as well as the flight footage. But overall, it's a nice little wing so far. So I'm still debating on the current electronics to have set up in here, or maybe just with nothing and just some sort of a PWM receiver to control the ESC as well as the servos here. So yeah, that's going to conclude it for the first part of the video, guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. This is the KingKong 800X FPV Wing, or the LDARC FPV Wing 800X, and you can get these at GearBest, and I'll have a link to them down below if you could check those out. Those greatly support the channel, and I'll see you in the next episode. Peace out, guys.